You interrupted a ritual years in the planning. You stole its purpose. You will kneel.
You expect us to surrender? We will not.
2014 brought us the third installment in the highly acclaimed series of RPG games by BioWare, Dragon Age Inquisition. This time around, we do not join the Grey Wardens, nor do we seek refuge overseas, driven from our home by the Darkspawn. The initial events in the game lead us to reviving the eponymous Inquisition, a group of people who rise up to defend Thedas from the dangers posed by the mysterious entity known as the Elder One. The plot of the game is not really original, but the way it is presented definitely deserves highlighting. As the leader of the Inquisition, we do not save the world on our own. Instead, we search for allies and arm up in order to stand firm against our enemies. The story is presented in a slightly more believable way. After all, it's reasonable that kingdoms and empires deal seriously with the Inquisition that can be a serious political force and not bow down before a single hero who saves the world on his own. Dialogues were always an important aspect in BioWare's titles. In Dragon Age 2, we had a division into good, bad, and funny answers. This time around, the developers decided to implement a different system. Dialogue options now have icons that symbolize an emotion that a certain utterance conveys. The creator also decided to remove the possibility to act as an anti-hero, which results in all choices being good in some way. Nevertheless, that was the right thing to do since acting evil in previous installments always sounded artificial. The world has undergone the most changes in the third part of the series. Although it is still divided into several locations, this time around they are significantly larger and filled with optional activities and collectibles. Let me just point that if you want to max out the game, you'll have to spend about 150 hours in-game. Dragon Age Inquisition runs on Frostbite 3 engine, and it really does the game justice. Graphically, it is absolutely amazing, and you can never stop appreciating the beauty or the gloominess of your surroundings. In terms of physics, on the other hand, the game proves to be a little disappointing. The environment is indestructible, which is surprising, especially when you take into account that Battlefield 4 uses the exact same engine. If you're a Diablo fan and you're obsessed with destroying barrels, beware, it's not gonna happen. The developers often highlighted that the combat system in Dragon Age Inquisition will remind you more of the one from Dragon Age Origins than the one present in Dragon Age 2. Indeed it does, but not strongly enough. Character progression is interesting, and we have a fair amount of possibilities of development, but in the end, the fights still boil down to spamming with all the available attacks over and over again. Boss fights and fights with dragons are the only exceptions to this rule, as they actually require you to make use of the active pause and the tactical view. You'll be really satisfied when you manage to stand victorious after such skirmishes. Too bad every combat in the game is not like this.
You will break.
I will die first.
If you never had a chance to play Dragon Age Inquisition, now it's the best time to actually do it. With the Game of the Year edition now released, you can play the original game with all the expansions. In Jaws of Hakkon, you get to follow the trail of the Last Inquisitor. The Descent leads you down the deep roads to confront the Darkspawn and investigate the worsening earthquakes, and the Trespasser serves as the ultimate finale in which you embark on your last adventure to confront the one who started it all. There's a lot more good things that could be said about the game, for example, governing the Skyhold, the way the crafting system works, or a brilliant creation of secondary characters, but that's something you'll get to discover on your own. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.